Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Jacob, and today we're going to be covering the Palmetto State Armory PA10. So this is an AR-10 manufactured by Palmetto State Armory. This particular one is chambered in 308 with a 20-inch barrel. Now we did set this up as a DMR, so we've got the suppressor, bipod, we got offset white light, IR unit, so we can run this under night vision if we want to. We have the primary arms 4-16x44 SLX with the ARC 2 reticle and an offset red dot on the other side. We ended up changing out the grip to this Ergo 3, and we changed the stock to a B5 stop mod, just personal preference. We also did change out the trigger to a TriggerTech Diamond series, I believe is what it's called, Eric?
I believe so.
1.5 to 4 adjustable, single stage, flat, amazing trigger. More on that later. We threw on some QD points here. We got our pressure switches up here, painted the rifle, changed the rail, but like I said, we'll get more into that later. So what we're fixing to do, we're fixing to jump over here, confirm 0. We're going to group the gun. We're going to run it through a chronograph, and we're also going to gas the gun. Later on, we're going to show you the factory specs, some of the improvements we've made, and try to run this gun a little fast, running some drills, show the speed. As well as pushing out to distance and showing you that the gun's capable of that as well. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor.
It's us. We're the sponsors.
Anyways, so right now what we're fixing to do is we're fixing to confirm 0. I'm fairly certain the gun is not 0. So we're fixing to do this in as little rounds as possible. We're limited on ammunition today. That's just the name of the game when you sponsor yourself, right? You got to buy the ammunition yourself. However, we're going to try to 0 the gun in as little rounds as possible. And that way we can start pushing this out further distances here in a little bit. So right now we're fixing to do 0-ing. We're fixing to shoot for a 10-shot group. And then we're going to chronograph with and without the suppressor and see how that changes it, because we've seen in the past that a suppressor will change your feet per second. So now we have the Trigger Cam 2.1 on here, so you'll be able to see what I'm seeing down range. I'll go ahead and show you what we're shooting at here. Shoot at this dot that we drew on there and walk it in using PMC pointed soft point 150 grain 308. Super scientific up to the right. Super scientific. You like that? Shit. A little trick, guys. Don't grab the hot one. When you're adjusting your scope, do that right there. Not too hard. Just enough to get it to kind of sit in there. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that was me pulling that shot. Get a little more steady. I'm going to see if I can't punch the center out. No, that pulled that far. One was a check, one pulled. So, 3. 0 to gun in 3 rounds with my super duper scientific measurements. Okay, yeah. So, Eric's fixing to run down range and put a dot center of the face down there, and then we're going to shoot for a 10-round group on that. All right, like I said, fixing to shoot a 10-round group. Went ahead and just done the bag like this, because it just gets me a little lower. I can hold the gun a little more steady, because we've had issues in the past trying to group guns like this, just having it too high up. Couldn't stabilize it like I wanted to, and there was a lot of error on my end. We're trying to eliminate that as best possible. We're trying different things. And I pulled that shot. I pulled that last shot. Really the last 3 I kind of pulled. Getting gassed in the face is not cool. Look how filthy that bullet is now. I don't know if you can see that very well with all this bright light behind me. Let's go down there and check that out right fast. So I just real quickly want to point out that last shot, whenever I was trying to punch the center out, I absolutely did. Here's our grouping, our 10-shot group. I pulled like 2 or 3 of those shots. That was on me. I know the last one I shot was this right here. 100% that one was on me. But Eric, how big would you say that is? About an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter, inch and a half?
Yeah. From
this one here to this one here?
I'd say maybe an inch.
But I know both of these I certainly pulled. So if we just look at this center group right here, take these 4 flyers off, that center group, like you could fit that behind a penny. So now what we're fixing to do, we're fixing to shoot 5 rounds through the chronograph and see where we're at with the suppressor. Okay, like I said, 5 rounds of 150 grain PMC. Yeah, PMC, PSP. Hopefully I don't shoot the chronograph. So, I don't know what our average is. I was just reading them off as I was shooting. I'll throw the average up here. Okay, so now we're fixing to do 5 more shots without the suppressor, just open break. We got another 5 rounds loaded up. The suppressor is off. Just, we don't have a muzzle device with us. This suppressor basically lives on this gun. And that is a great segue into what we're fixing to cover, which is the gassing issues. But we're gonna go ahead and single shot each one of these, even if we have to work it out every time. We'll go ahead and chrono these anyways. So I don't know if you noticed, the recoil was quite a bit more. I definitely noticed. The gun was jumping around more. So we got 6 shots. I'm going to show you how to gas this gun and how to tell when it's not gassed properly. So obviously we could tell the magazine is a little finicky. A little finicky. Anyways, so obviously you could tell we were not ejecting when we were shooting that last group through the chrono. So we got 6 more rounds. I'm going to show you how to adjust the gas block, because right now it's adjusted for a suppressor. So let me explain this to you right fast for those of you who don't know. When you put a suppressor on a gas gun like this, it overgasses the system, so there's more gas coming back through the system. That's why we had faster FPS with the suppressor on than with the suppressor off. I don't know if you noticed that. Is what, like maybe 100 feet faster, if I'm guessing. I haven't really looked at the numbers. So it overpressures the system, which gets you faster feet per second and makes the gun cycle faster. Also, if you're not careful, it'll have more wear and tear on your gun. So get you an adjustable gas block if you're going to be running suppressed. Technically, I don't have to adjust it right now because this gun is primarily shot suppressed. I don't hardly ever shoot it unsuppressed. So since it's working suppressed and it's gas correctly suppressed right now, I don't have to. However, we're going to, because I want to show you how to do that. And with doing that, it'll work unsuppressed and suppressed. Now, it'll be a little overgassed when you suppress it. However, that's just one of them things we call combat gas. Anyway, so earplugs still, because we're fixed to shoot unsuppressed since it's not working that way. I'll show you how to gas the gun, how to adjust the gas block. We got 6 shots. I'm sure we get it done in 6 shots. So obviously, from a good starting point is right now, not enough gas to cycle the bolt, right? I don't know if you paid attention. That bolt was not moving when I was shooting, right? So I already know I need to start opening up my gas block. So what we're going to do is just 1 click at a time. We're going to 1 click, shoot, 1 click, shoot, 1 click, shoot, until it starts gassing correctly. So we went ahead and took the handguard off. That way we could really show you what we're looking at here. Right here, you have your actual adjustment. Now, I was told by a gunsmith a long time ago, about a year ago, and I also seen a video online of a similar gas block saying to adjust this right here with an Allen key. It did not come with an Allen key for that. It only came with the super long one right here. The way that it was explained to me was this was your lock and this was your actual adjustment right here, right? So I would back this off, move this around, tighten this back down, try to gas it, and it would not function. We dealt with that for a long time. That was from the video. I took it to a gunsmith. They said, yes, that's how you do it. So we just kept playing with it and considered replacing the gas block until finally I said, you know what, just for funsies, let's just play with this right here and see what that does. And absolutely, I was correct from the very jump. This right here is the adjustment, just like every other gas block. Don't be confused. Don't let anyone tell you wrong. Don't let anyone tell you different. This is how you adjust it with this right here. What we'll do is when you rotate it to the right, you'll feel a click, right? And that's closing off the gas block. So since we're here and we're not getting a good function, we're going to open it 1 click, and now we're going to shoot it like that and see how it does. We just adjusted the gas block. We got 6 bullets here. I can't remember if I did 1 click or 2 clicks, but we're going to go ahead and test it out. So focusing on the bolt, whether or not it travels or not, how far it travels, if it cycles, if it ejects. So when you're gassing the gun, you want your ejection pattern to be almost 90 degrees straight out. If it's too far forwards, that means you're too overgassed. If it's too far backwards, that means you're undergassed. So be paying attention to where these eject out at, because we're going to be watching that. Now, the gun is on safety. As you can see, it tried to eject, which means we're still undergassed. So we're going to get this. We're going to open it up. 1 click. We'll do 2 clicks just for funsies, because I know we're not going to have enough gas from 1 click. We'll do 2 clicks. 2 clicks. Now, that did cycle. God dang, that's hot. That did cycle. However, it dumped it right here. Now, it could be that it's hitting this. I think so. I'll have to go back and actually watch because we've been getting a lot of that lately. However, it did cycle. So, we're going to shoot one more round and see where the ejection is. So, it did not pick up a round, which means we're still under gassed. So it was the bolt traveled back far enough to kick that shell out, but it didn't travel back far enough to get behind the next round to pick it up. So we're going to do one click, open. Shit. How was that ejection pattern?
Straight down.
Well, it did pick up the next round. You said it was straight down?
Yeah.
Yep, it did pick up the next round. We took one round out. I just want to do 2 rounds to see if it'll cycle properly and lock back on an empty mag. Did not lock back. So we're going to open it up one more click, shoot our last round that we have here, and see if it'll lock open on an empty magazine. And it locked back. So now, from what we can tell, the gun is properly gassed. This RDS right here is kind of in the way, so it's not getting the actual ejection pattern because it's coming up and hitting that. Probably going to move that. I would recommend moving that absolutely if that's interfering with your brass. If your brass is hitting the front lens of your RDS, probably should move it. However, I don't have any mount with me today, so we're just going to leave it there for the rest of the day. So there's 2 different ways you can mount an RDS, especially on like a DMR like this, right? You can do the offset like what I have, to where when you're shooting with the scope, you just rotate the gun and you shoot like that, which is great for like earplugs like this, in the ear stuff. But if you're going to use over the ear pro, I like to bring my optics up, which I stated in my Car 15 video, because it doesn't interrupt the seal on your ear pro. So what you could do is mount it to the top here, right? Up here, front, back, however you want to do it. I recommend the back. That way, if you have tall turrets like this, yeah, the dot will still be on your turret, but with both eyes open, you'll still see the dot on your target, right? And it'll be a lot easier to shoot. It's completely doable. Also, when you're running night vision, if you have it mounted up top, right, you can still kind of get behind the gun like this, bring it up, and passively aim through your red dot and shoot under nods. Really kind of hard to do, especially with the setup I have here, trying to be on the gun like this, down low enough to where you can see through the red dot and have enough space for like a PVS 14 or some 31s or something like that. So if you're going to run this gun under night vision, absolutely put the RDS up top. I just stood here to try this out. This is actually the second gun I've rented on the side like this. I just don't like it being super tall. Snag hazard, in my opinion. I like it to be more compact, down closer, streamlined. So that's the reason it's there. However, I am running into the issue of the dot shining on the back of this turret, which is the whole reason I put it over here, is to try to avoid that. But since I'm running into it on either side, I might as well put it up top, the PEC unit on here, and be able to run this under nods. Anyway, so what I'm fixing to do, I'm fixing to throw the rail back on here and suppressor, check out the gassing with the suppressor. If it's overgassed, I'm going to adjust it back down, and then we're going to move out to a different spot and start shooting some distance. So, right fast, what we're going to do, I want to show you this trigger. So, gun is clear. So this here is the Trigger Tech Diamond Series 1.5 to 4 pound adjustable, single stage, obviously, flat trigger, beautiful trigger. Love this trigger. 100% recommend this trigger for any precision style build in a gas gun. This is my only experience with Trigger Tech. I have 2 of these, one in this gun, one in a different gun, but 100%, 10 out of 10, every single time that I build a precision gun, it will be this trigger if it's going to be an AR platform. Yeah, it's the blue one. It works in AR-15s and AR-10s. Personally, though, I've had better performance out of it in the AR-10s, just it's tighter. Anyways, so initially on safety, you push the trigger, either direction, it does not move. This thing is a solid piece of metal. It's just stationary, will not even budge even in the slightest. So take safety off. Immediately you're on the wall. You apply pressure and it clicks, it moves back. It doesn't have any extra slop in it. It's still a solid piece of metal, doesn't move. We'll do that again. So immediately on the wall, 1, a lot of the times, whenever you're brand new to this trigger, it'll surprise you, right? It definitely did me. This is the lightest trigger I've ever pulled. We've gauged it before, which we're fixing to gauge it. I'll show you. But we have gauged it and gotten 1 pound trigger pulls out of this. Yeah, that thing is stupid good. The reset, you start coming off a little bit, and then you hear that click. Once you hear that click, the trigger stops moving. But I will tell you, the way it feels when you're coming off, you basically let all pressure off the trigger and you're fixing to actually come off the trigger and quit touching it, and that's when it clicks, right before you actually stop touching the trigger. So you're not gonna bump fire this trigger if you're shooting properly like this, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I loosened my grip and just kind of stuck my finger in here and let the recoil work, I could probably bump fire this off the bipod. For sure, probably could do it. However, I think they did this to where you have to basically let off of the trigger. I think they did that intentionally so you wouldn't accidentally bump fire and send unintentional rounds downrange. But that trigger, beautiful. And then that reset, if you'll listen, beautiful, beautiful trigger. Very solid, very purpose driven, right? Like you wouldn't have this in a gun you're trying to go fast in. I mean, you could. I don't know, you probably couldn't. I could, right? But you can definitely run it fast, which we're going to show you here in a little bit when we start running drills. This is certainly a precision oriented trigger. So if you wanted to get something fast, you'd get like a Geisley or a CMC, like curved, single stage, or you know, something like that. Granted, most precision guns typically want to have a 2-stage, and I get that because that's my 300 and a lot of my precision guns have 2-stage triggers. However, I kind of like this single stage. What do you think, Eric?
I like it.
When was the last time you shot this gun?
Yesterday, wasn't it? Or day before?
Oh, yeah. When we came down here and gassed it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, you're fixing to shoot it some more. Let's go ahead and gauge this right fast. So we've got our super scientific gauge here, built by NASA, specifically for our YouTube channel here. Okay, I'm gonna try to get on the very bottom here, Eric. That way we get the lightest pull. That was at 1 pound. So I'm gonna go on the very bottom here. So right there we're sitting at just under 2 pounds. Try again from the very bottom down here. Once again, just under 2 pounds. And that was exactly 2 pounds on that. Middle of the trigger. We're now at 2 1/4. I think the reason that we're no longer getting the 1 pound trigger pull is because I pulled this trigger out the other day and I adjusted it and messing with it. But anyways, yep, right at 2 1/4 on that one as well. So right here is actually where you adjust it. I don't know if you can read that in there, but if you rotate it counterclockwise, it lessens the trigger weight. If you rotate it clockwise, it makes it higher. You got these 2 screws down in the bottom to get it snug. That way the trigger doesn't move in there. And that thing is absolutely beautiful. But it's just super filthy in there right now because we've been shooting it a little bit. But yeah, that's what the trigger looks like. So why this particular gun? I was originally going to get the Aero M5, but Lucas Botkins had just dropped a video on the M5 like, what, a week or 2 before, was it? And so everything was sold out. I get the daily emails from PSA, so I knew that they had AR-10s on sale, so I went ahead and picked this one up just to go ahead and get one. So why this particular setup? I could have just went with just an optic like most people do. However, I wanted something that looked cool. But more seriously, I wanted something that I wanted something that had as many capabilities to it as possible, because this gun's not set up for one specific thing. It's set up for multiple things. That's why it has IR. That's why it's got a white light. It's got bipod. We've got this tripod for it. Got the suppressor. Got the illuminated optic here with the level on the side. We've got red dot on the side. Like, it's set up for multiple things. Okay, so I've got my notes pulled up here because I went ahead and measured everything like, what, a month and a half ago. So I'm gonna read these off to you. In its shortest configuration with no muzzle device, no stock, just the end of the buffer tube to the end of the barrel, it is exactly 3 feet. But if you go ahead and throw on the B5 shop mod stock all the way closed in, you're right at 1 foot 1 3/8, something like that. Just a little over 1/1. With the stock completely all the way out, so like that, you're sitting right at 40.5 inches. So with the longest configuration, which is the way it sits now with the stock all the way out the suppressor on there, we're sitting at 49.5 inches. So if you wanted to buy a case to where it would fit this entire thing, you don't have to take the suppressor off or the upper or anything like that. You'd need one that's at least 50 inches on the inside. But the way that I run it, as you can see here, my stock stays right there. That is exactly 4 foot. So we did buy the 20-inch model here with the suppressor. We're sitting right at 29 inches, counting from the end of the suppressor to this end of the barrel. So I see a lot of people asking whenever it comes to the thread pitch on the end of the barrel, it is a 5/8 by 24 standard 30 caliber thread pitch. Magazine compatibility, this one happens to be a 20 round steel Pro Mag. We've tried 2 different steel mags. One was like a ASC or something like that, and I bought 2 of them. They were $35 each, and neither one of them worked. I wound up shooting them. This lower happens to run off of the DPMS SR25 standard, magazines. Like I said, as far as steel mags go, this is the only one that I found that works. P mags work great in here. If you're running a 25, 20, whatever, there it is. Whatever it is, it will work. Now, whenever it comes to the reliability of it, I haven't had any issues out of it personally, other than the gassing issue, which was 100% my fault. What do you think, Eric? Reliability, you've shot the gun.
It's all right.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Have we had any failure to feeds, any jams? I think we had one stovepipe one time, but it was due to the gas block being adjusted incorrectly. Do you recall anything?
But outside of gassing, no, not really.
Yeah. I don't happen to have the stock trigger with me today. I'll throw up some footage of that. What I immediately did as soon as I bought the gun, I'd already had this stock, this grip, and a new trigger already sitting there with me. So as soon as the gun came in, I immediately just tore all that off, started throwing new parts in there. So I can't really speak to the new trigger. As far as I know, because I did dry fire with it a little bit, and it seems to be just a mil-spec trigger like you would find in any standard AR that you're buying. Now, as far as the grip goes, it came with what looked like a standard A2 grip just without the finger knob, but the whole thing was rubberized. I ended up throwing that on a different gun. It's not bad, and that's the thing about this. I replaced these parts, not because there was anything wrong with them, not because they were broken. I just personally didn't prefer them. I preferred this. And as far as the stock goes, the original stock that came with this is your standard Magpul MOE adjustable. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's great stock, still have it. I'm pretty sure that might be on a different build right now. Who knows? The stock muzzle that comes on this gun is just like any other standard. I mean, this is a PSA rifle. It's not going to be super tricked out. It's not part of their Saber lineup. It came with just a regular A2 style birdcage, and I still use it from time to time whenever I'm not shooting suppressed. But 90% of the time, I shoot it with the suppressor on there, so I don't ever use the birdcage. I will say, I don't know how much YouTube's going to like this, but I will say this upper and lower is actually very tight. I know a lot of the guns that I build, especially ARs, I have to get the little rubber thing off of primary arms. I forget what it's called. The little red rubber thing goes right here underneath this back takedown pin to really squeeze it together and hold it tight. This doesn't need it. In fact, I tried putting one in here. Not enough room. So the buffer that comes in the gun is your yellow spring AR-10 standard spring, and then your, oh, you can't read it. It's nasty. Your PA10 buffer weight. I have no idea what it is. You'd have to ask PSA because I didn't see it listed anywhere. I will say this gun gets absolutely filthy shooting suppressed, just like any other gun. Anyways, yeah, just your standard bolt carrier group for AR-10s, super big and chunky compared to your standard AR-15 bolt carrier group. It does have the single ejector as well as the charging handle. Both are just your mil-spec, regular, run-of-the-mill. Nothing too fancy. It is a forged aluminum upper and lower. Standard AR-10 buffer spring, standard buffer weight. The castle nut, however, we did notice is staked twice, which is cool. As you already know, we have the single stage trigger tech. Actually adjusted it since we did the trigger test. I don't have the trigger tester or the gauge, whatever. But it is pulling 1 pound now. I just don't have it with me to show you. How convenient. So the scope is the primary arms 4-16 by 44 millimeter SLX FFP with the Arc 2 reticle. Eric, what do you think about this optic?
I like it.
I love this optic. No, okay, I love it, but I hate it at the same time. It's my first ever primary arms experience. Don't get me wrong, it's a high quality scope. Absolutely love it. I don't even remember how much I paid for it. It wasn't much. The Arc 2 reticle is actually a really fine sort of reticle. It's more of a long range reticle. So it is a first focal plane and it's super duper fine. And whenever I say super duper fine, I mean the actual reticle itself is so fine that when you're backed all the way down to 4 power, it'd be very easy to lose it, especially looking out something like this gray background back here. it'd be very easy to lose your reticle. That's why we have the illumination on the side. It is green and red, so you've got your green for daytime, your red for nighttime. This is certainly more geared towards a precision style reticle. So whenever you do crank it up, with it being the first focal plane, the reticle does get bigger and then it's not as fine, so you can actually shoot and hit better on target. But that is why it's so fine, is because it does grow. So if it was like regular size, say for a second focal plane, if it was that same size, when you would zoom in, it would get even bigger, which would be harder to hit them long distance targets. It does come with, right here, this little kind of throw lever knob thing. It helps, but it also kind of gets in the way, in my opinion. I've considered just taking it off. Bought the optic from Primary Arms, and then the mount I got from Optics Planet. I don't even know what it's called, but it does have this nice little level on the side that I don't shoot far enough to need it. Hello, brother.
Look closer.
Yeah, come here. Come check it out. It's dope. So the gun originally came with a 15-inch anti-rotation handguard. We ended up changing it out because we wanted one with this top rail. This is a Gun Tech USA that we paid like $100 for off of, where did we get this? Primary?
I believe so.
Yeah, Primary Arms. We're not sponsored by them at all, but I mean, they're great. I'd recommend it. But this here is a 16-inch. We wanted it to be a longer rail. We changed it out for two reasons. Number one, we wanted this top rail so we can mount thermal or night vision clip-ons in the future. We also wanted something a little bit longer, and I'll explain why. So the reason we wanted the handguard to be longer is because when we mounted our bipod, it was touching the gas block. So to avoid that, we had to pull the bipod back and put it right here. We had a gassing issue, which I'll explain in just a minute, but we would have to take the bipod off every single time we wanted to take the handguard off to address the gassing issue, and it got super old. So we threw this on here, totally worth the investment. Got the top rail, so in the future we can do different things, and now we don't have to take the bipod off every time we want to take the handguard off. The gassing issue, Eric, I don't want to harp on it too much because it was entirely my own ignorance that caused the issue. On the PSA website, it says it's a 3-position gas block. It is not a 3-position gas block. I have no idea how many positions it has. It's more like 33, I don't know. Anyways, me never having a adjustable gas block before, I knew how they worked. I knew how to adjust them. I just never had any hands-on experience with them. So whenever I got this one, I seen it was a 3-position, you know, closed, mid, all the way open. I didn't want to mess it up. Right? So I went online, tried to find a video on this particular gas block, could not find one, so I made one. You're welcome. The advice that I got from one particular video that was very similar to this, they were saying that the front piece was a lock and then on the side is the actual adjustments. So I was trying to play with that. So I would loosen the front, adjust the side, and then tighten the front back down. And so essentially what I was doing every single time was I would open the gas block, play with this thing on the side, and then close the gas block off and wonder why it wouldn't cycle. So I played with that for about a week or two and then took it to a gunsmith that I know. He looked at it and was like, yeah, that's how you do it. And I was like, okay, you know, he's a gunsmith. This guy's got, you know, experience more than I do. So I just trusted these guys. And yeah, it didn't work out. So I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to operate this thing just like every other gas block I've ever seen and just adjust the front. And guess what? It worked. I do have a video out, a little YouTube short on that, explaining how to adjust that because I don't want anyone falling into that same little kind of trap that I fell into because I did believe the website where they say it's a 3-position. So I would click, it's still not running. I guess this doesn't work. Anyways, so that's why we replaced the handguard, and honestly, I kind of love it. Real quick, just want to mention, like I said earlier, we do have the Magpul QD adapter right here, so we can run our sling to either one of these back pieces on the stock or this one right here that is an upgrade for the B5. Moving around to the other side of the gun, we have our white light. This happens to be a Surefire X300 Ultra. It's like the light for a handgun. However, I did buy this adapter and run it off of a switch here. Up top, we have a Hollow Sun IR unit. This is one that I pulled off my Blackout just because I wanted to run this under nods right quick. You do have, if I can show you here, you have your laser for daytime, and so you can zero it like that. It does have an illuminator, but only IR illuminator. But only an IR illuminator, no white light or anything like that. But I'll go more in detail on that unit in the Blackout video. But I am running a pressure switch here for the unit, and then pressure switch up front here for the white light. As far as the bipod goes, this is just some cheap little bipod off of Amazon. This is like the 3rd bipod to be on this gun. I just wanted a super long bipod because all I've ever had is like the, what is it, the 6 to 9 inch, Eric? That's all I've ever used, and I seen this one, it was like a 9 to 13. I was like, hey, let's try that out. It works out great because I don't ever extend it like this. There's really no need. The reason I ended up going with this though is because with the 6 to 9 inch bipods, I'd always have to click them out. This one right here is already sitting at 9, so I don't have to do anything to it except for just flip it down. It's already at the position I need it to be at, and it's a lot more stable than this right here. You know what I'm saying? This, where it's already one solid piece, is a lot more stable and durable in my opinion. So yeah, anytime I want to shoot prone, I just flip that down and we're good to go. So the suppressor cover is a Krydex I got off of Amazon. It does its job. The suppressor gets hot, I can still grab it and touch it and feel, okay, that thing's pretty damn hot underneath there, and not burn myself. And then of course the gun does not come in OD green like this. I painted it myself. Spray paint your guns. Clearly does not hurt them. Makes them look really cool though. You might be wondering what's going on back here. This here is just a piece of Velcro that's adhesive on the other side. I stuck it on there. That way whenever I'm shooting, I can put my cheek on there. And if it's cold like it is right now, the stock won't be cold on my face. And then this right here is something I've seen a lot of precision guys who run this particular stock doing. It is so whenever they put their shooting bag back here, they don't accidentally hit this and, you know, the stock adjusts while in recoil, whatever. It doesn't absolutely prevent it, but it does help. And yeah, this is just a Ranger band. Now, something I think is pretty neat. The B5 Soft Mod stock, one of the big reasons why I wanted this stock is it has these two little compartments right here to store stuff. Now, this is perfect for storing like your CR123s or AA batteries, or even a cleaning kit. I believe you can buy like a cleaning kit to go in there. I don't know. It did come with this upgraded piece right here. I think this thing's like $60 if you buy it individually. I bought this whole thing almost the way it sits off of Optics Planet. But I like that it had these storage spaces in here for CR123s, because if you'll look here, the X300 runs off of CR123s. The Hollow Sun IR unit here runs off of CR123s. The only other things that run off of any kind of battery are the two Optics, but you're not changing those out very often because, for one, hardly am I ever using this gun up close, so I'm hardly ever using the red dot. And secondly, I hardly ever use the illumination on the scope. It's starting to rain a little bit. Close those up. But I do have the option to carry extra CR123s, AA batteries, really jelly beans, candy, whatever. Another thing I really like about this stock is putting it on and off the buffer tube, right? Instead of having to pull it down on like two little ears right here like a mag pull, you just grab this and pull it straight down. There you are. If you look at the overall profile of the stock, it's a lot fatter, so it's a lot more comfortable to kind of lay on and live with the rifle. You know, if you're in this position for a long time, it's a lot more comfortable on your face. I will say the one gripe I have, which again could be my fault, whenever you have the gun, right, chambered, and say I don't want to shoot this round, I want to kick it out. You can't just, see how hard that was? You really have to kind of force it out of there, especially if you've been shooting. It really locks in really tight, and the lugs don't want to kind of rotate and break free. So a lot of times you'll see me putting my thumbs on the back of the scope, both fingers, and working it out like that. That could entirely be my fault that I have not cleaned this gun yet. We will end up cleaning it before we do any of the long range shooting that you're fixing to see. All right, from the beep, 1R1, no warm up. Ready? Keep in mind, I'm reloading from the pocket over here. What's the time?
It's not registering.
Your turn. My turn. Yep, take the gun. You're gonna do a Mozambique. We got 5 rounds in here. Not quite a bill drill, but we'll run it. It won't go in safety.
You outran it.
No farmer strike. You think I outran it?
I think you outran it.
I mean, that looks fairly quick.
You are fast, so I'm
okay.
pretty sure you outran it.
Now it's on safety. Trying again, 3 shots.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Took the suppressor off, have to keep the bipod down, otherwise it's like this, and I'm not trying to run the risk of blowing anything apart.
Oh, 091.
It picked up one. Bring me the long Allen key. I forgot to gas it. I'm gonna do a bill drill on this guy. I didn't like during that bill drill that it started walking me back. So I'm fixing to try to mitigate recoil. I've only got 5 shots, but I'm gonna put them directly center mass as quickly as possible without letting the gun bully me, because I am like 6'4"-ish, somewhere in that range. So we've now backed up to 150 yards. We're shooting some 150 grain Federal power shot. Well, we know 150 works. So now we've backed up to 250 yards. I missed, but you hear that bullet traveling? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually max out as far as we can shoot today, and we'll tell you what the distance is once we get down there, yeah? So now we've maxed out the range that we can shoot today. We're at 450 yards. Whoa!
Low.
That hit the ground.
Yeah.
So how tall is that dueling tree? About yay tall?
About.
So we're like 4 or 5 foot low right now. I'm maybe about 3 foot above that top one and see where we land. How many rounds we got left? That is crazy. I didn't realize there was gonna be that much damn drop. Oh, hold higher. Shot. Is that hitting to the right? Yeah, I think so. Hold it. Let me look at my dope.
I never saw it.
I never seen it either. I think my left and right's off. So this is our 3rd time out here shooting. First time we come out here to shoot, we weren't very experienced with shooting at distance like this. This is East Texas. We don't shoot that far, 100 yards most of the time. Anyone from East Texas, you can kind of vouch for that. We also figured out that either during transportation from when we sighted it in, which that was only at like 70 yards, 75 yards, was it, Eric? Something like that. Not far at all. Not our traditional 100-yard zero that we normally do on these guns. I guess either during transportation, the scope got hit or something, or I just am garbage at sighted in scopes at 70 yards. The scope was not sighted in. Once we got here, it was no longer sighted in. We were shooting all over the place, and we were trying to, make adjustments and dials to correct where we were hitting, but we couldn't tell where we were hitting. So we're back out here for a 3rd time trying to shoot this gun at distance. So the first time that we came out here to shoot, the gun was not sighted in properly. We were trying to make adjustments on the fly and could not tell where our rounds were impacting, so we were just blindly making adjustments. So then we came out here a 2nd time trying to show you guys some long distance shooting. We sighted in the gun, but the gun was still all over the place, and we discovered it's because the gun was absolutely filthy. Remember I said we will end up cleaning it before we do any of the long range shooting? Well, we didn't. That was a lie. I forgot. So we're back for a 3rd time. The gun is sighted in, the gun is cleaned. We're gonna use the bipod. That way it takes away as much movement error on my end, and so we can get the best groupings that we can out of the gun. What we're gonna do is we have a US PSA target set up 250 yards away. We have 2 different types of ammunition that we're going to be running. We've got the Fiocchi Field Dynamics 150 grain soft points. And then we have the Winchester M118 long range 175 grain Sierra Match King boat tail hollow point 7.62 by 51 millimeter. That way we have a more affordable ammunition, so you can see what, your baseline of ammunition that you're going to be buying for a gun like this would do. And then we have a premium ammunition. That way you can see kind of the maximum performance out of this gun. Okay, so first we're gonna start with the Fiocchi 150 grain soft point. Keep in mind, Eric, I do not have anything to reference to shoot at. I believe that was mostly on my part, that grouping, because I didn't have anything to aim at. I was aiming just towards like the lower midsection. So for this stream of fire, 10 rounds, I'm going to be aiming at the head and trying to get them as close to center of the head as possible. So this should be better. This is the Sierra Match King M118. So both groupings were garbage. The Fiocchi grouping, I was aiming just, you know, the lower belly area, center mass. Didn't have really anything to aim at, and I was scattering shots all over the place. The Sierra Match Kings were a tighter grouping. I was aiming at the head box, center of the head box. However, with this distance, I was shooting higher than intended because the scope is dialed in for 445 right now instead of 250. So I was shooting over. However, I did land 3 shots on that, and it was a tighter group. Take it for what you will. That was most certainly on my part, but the gun did group better with the better ammunition. We're gonna move back. We're gonna spend the rest of our ammunition that we have. We've got 10 shots of Sierra Match King, 8 shots of Fiocchi, and we're gonna try to hit these 6-inch plates. So here we are at 445 yards now. We're gonna be shooting at these 6-inch plates. All right, this is the Fiocchi 150 grade. We only got like 7, 8 shots left. I hit the tripod. Well, I nicked the plate that time. The gun's pulling to the right. I hit the dueling tree, like the stand itself, once, and I've nicked the plate twice. Switching to the Sierra Match King. And first shot hit it. Did you see that, Eric? Which I watched it through the scope. I was shooting at the top plate. The top plate, because it's the only one on the left side, it flipped over to the right side, came back to the left side, and then the very bottom one flipped from the right side to the left side. I'll see if I can do it one more time, and I'll let you try it, Eric. Yep. Got it.
All right, let's see if I can land a hit.
Oh, you got it.
Let's see if I can do another one.
Hell yeah. You got it. Oh, did you hear that fucking slap?
Yeah. Hold on.
You think you got it figured out now?
Yeah.
All right.
It moved the bottom one.
Yeah, there's a lot of force hitting that.
And it bounced right back.
Send it.
I don't know what that was.
You missed that one.
I heard something hit. It sounded metal.
You might have hit the stand again.
All right, ready?
Yep. You hit something. Hold. Let me shoot. This is our last shot right here. You ready? Mm-hmm. So, what do we think about this gun? I will say pros and cons of the gun is, pro, it's affordable. I don't think it's sub MOA. I don't think you can even get 1 MOA. I mean, you can with the right ingredients of ammunition, you know, trigger, weather conditions, environment, how far you're shooting, everything like that. I'm sure you could get 1 MOA, maybe even sub out of the gun. But that's just not what we were seeing. Overall thoughts of the gun. It can be ran fast. It is accurate out at distance. Granted, we were shooting 6-inch steel at like close to 500 yards. So that was kind of hard to do. But it is doable. We absolutely can do it. The gun is affordable. So if you're looking at getting your first AR-10 and you're wanting to kind of get into the precision game with a gas gun, I'd definitely recommend this gun.
I mean, it's chambered in 308, so that's a pro to me.
Yeah, it's a very common cartridge. You can find it pretty much anywhere.
Okay.
And it's affordable.
It's affordable. It hits hard. It can definitely reach out there. It's more than capable of it.
Right. Yeah, honestly, I think that would be my favorite part of the whole gun. It is chambered in 308. You know, especially here in Texas, very common cartridge. We are a NATO country as of right now, unfortunately. Anyways, so you can find ammunition fairly cheap. I think yesterday you found 500 rounds of M80 for how much?
Like $400.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely buy a stockpile of ammunition and have a hard-hitting gun that's affordable, that's not going to break the bank, that's accurate, and very modular, as you can see. Is there anything about the gun you don't like?
The weight.
The weight? Well, it's just because, I mean, we've got all this
but
crap on here.
yeah, that's like without all of that, I have held it. It's not ungodly heavy.
Yeah, if it only
it's
had...
manageable. But
Yeah.
like with all this on there, it's just like, holy shit, it's a workout.
If it only had the scope on there, it would be super lightweight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I think that's the big reason why when you see people doing any kind of videos on YouTube with an AR-10, 90% of the time all they have is an optic on there. They might have a bipod, something like that, you know, but 90% of the time, these are big guns. 308, magazine-fed gas gun, semi-auto, you know, it's going to be heavy. So a lot of people try to keep it, you know, as light as possible, and I totally get that. However, I am him, and I can do this.
It is kind of a pain with that suppressor on to get it in and out of the truck every once in a blue moon. Because you're wielding what is a damn near a flagpole.
I will say, as far as the suppressor goes, getting gassed in the face is something I'm relatively new to. I've only been doing that for like a year and a half, shooting suppressed, I mean. And yeah, getting gassed in the face is not fun. So if you're going to shoot something, you know, especially more than like 1 or 2 shots, and it's going to be suppressed, get you some glasses like you've seen me do earlier. Yeah, it sucks to get a bunch of gas randomly in the eyeball. So, Eric, would you recommend this gun to pretty much anybody?
Yeah, pretty much if they're wanting to get into, you know, more distance shooting, especially with this length of a barrel. Or, you know,
and something chambered in 308, because I mean, you could build this whole thing in a 5.56.
Yeah, if you want to get into like semi-auto 308, yeah, definitely. If you want to, you know, if you want to get into that more of a DMR range of, you know, shooting, or even if you just want a long battle rifle.
Dude, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was torn between setting it up like this or just throwing like an EOTech on here on a Unity riser. And just basically the same setup I've got right here as far as the IR and the white light, but then running like a Surefire war comp out here, and then a Geisley in here, and running nothing but the 25 round magazines, and just run it as a. Obviously, I'd have done a different grip, not something as bulky, but definitely same stock. It would have been great, but to run 7.62 like that, like you do 5.56, gets very expensive very quickly. So that's why I didn't do that. Plus, I wanted more of a DMR setup, and this, I don't know, this is not going to be my primary hunting rifle, but this last year, this was the primary hunting rifle. And don't get me wrong, I'll still use it very often for hunting and stuff, but my primary hunting rifle now is still the 300, and I actually am fixing to go get a different bolt rifle that I think is fixing to be my primary. I got to shoot it first. Yes, I would recommend this gun to just about anybody, especially someone who's responsible and interested in getting into some long range shooting. I definitely recommend this. Now, here's the thing. Is it a KAC or one of the more expensive, well-known companies? No. And I mean, that shines through, you know. However, for the way it sits right here, I'm probably sitting at roughly $4,000? Question mark? Because it's like 12 for the rifle. I think anywhere from 3 to 6 for the optic. I think 100 for the mount. I don't have any idea about the red dot or the mount over here. The trigger was 300. The stock was like 60, I think, 100, something like that. The grip was like 30. Magazines are 20. This was right at 1,000. This is 300. How much was the Zenitco gooseneck on here?
That Zenitco gooseneck was like,
because you bought that.
Yeah, I picked it up for like 135.
Oh, that's not bad. And then the suppressor, I want to say, was like $500 or $600.
Here recently, them have gone up though.
And then the $100 rail. So I mean, it's for the. I don't even know how much that would cost. Editor Jacob, throw the overall price up here. Anyways, you can have this thing fully built out like this, be shooting suppressed, have your IR capabilities, your white light, low light capabilities, and offset red dot for close-up engagements, and lots of magazines, lots of ammunition, and still not even be at the price of a KAC. So, if this is something that you're unsure of that you wanna try out, I say go ahead and buy it, shoot the gun, build it out a little bit, and if you don't like it, you can always turn around and sell it, right? Or if it's something you're super interested in, you could keep it and save up for a better model or a different brand, or you could sell that and put that money towards a better, manufacturer. It's whatever you choose to do. I don't see how you could go wrong buying this right here. So outside of the weight, what is the number one thing you don't like about the gun, Eric?
Number one thing?
Yeah.
Outside of the weight?
Is there one?
Not really. Other than that, I guess the length, but that's.
Oh, it's 20 inch.
Yeah, it's meant as a DMR roll, so you're not really gonna be clearing buildings with it. But I mean, you could, but really, other than that, I really don't have any real issues with it. Like, I really don't have any complaints about it.
So obviously, I bought this rifle and bought all the stuff for it, except for the gooseneck. That was you, right? And I set this gun up. How would you have set this gun up if this was yours?
Very muchly would have set it up as a battle rifle.
You'd have done a battle rifle, not a DMR?
Yes.
Why?
I like battle rifles.
Well, I like battle rifles too, but DMR, dude.
It's 20-inch barrel. I can just get all the ass out of the bullet.
Yeah, I love the gun. I definitely can't recommend it enough. I love the optic. Primary Arms is super sick, dude. If you don't have any of their scopes, definitely go buy one, try them out. You'll be just as impressed as I am.
You won't be a loser anymore.
Don't tell my audience that they're losers. What are you doing?
So my overall thoughts on the gun is it's great. It's a great DMR.
Yeah.
It's a great DMR. I do recommend the SOP mod stocks.
Yes.
They're comfortable.
Dude.
I love them.
Yeah, this is my favorite like AR-15 style stock of all time.
Absolutely. The grip's a little chunky for me, but then again, I got small hands, so.
You got a small hand, boy.
The suppressor is definitely a plus.
It is definitely a plus. I wish I would have went with something more expensive. What?
I wish just the way you said it.
I'm just saying, because it's direct thread, which direct thread isn't bad because the suppressor pretty much lives on this gun and then one other gun. So I'm not changing out a whole lot. However, it does get tiring because that thing is long-winded. But yeah, I do wish I would have went with something a little bit better quality. Not that this is a bad suppressor, because it's not. It's a great suppressor. It's just, I'd never bought a suppressor before and was like, hey, you know what? I'll just throw a little bit of chump change, $500 here at it, whatever. And I wish I would have spent like $1,200 on it and got a really good one. However, this one does great, especially for what we're doing. It does great. However, so the thing about the suppressor is, as you can see in the footage, we were not wearing any kind of hearing protection while we were shooting it suppressed. Maybe some AirPods at most. So especially from behind the gun and the shooter's perspective, super quiet. You can shoot it all day long and it's not going to damage your hearing, at least not for me personally, but my hearing's already very badly damaged. So someone who doesn't have damaged hearing could be like, okay, that's pretty loud, and put on some ear pro. I do recommend wearing ear pro even if it is suppressed. Just my professional recommendation. However, if you are in front of that gun, because yesterday when we were shooting, I'd stepped off to the side to check the camera when someone shot it, and I mean I was off to the side. I wasn't directly in front of the gun. I was off to the side, like about like that from the camera. And I just stepped around and was looking at the camera as soon as he shot, and my ears started ringing. I was like, "Oh my god!" So stay behind the gun. That is my personal recommendation.
For me shooting it is loud, but it's not like hurting my ears. It's
That's
not
right. You're
not,
autistic. You have sensitive hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it is loud, but it's like I can deal with this. I could shoot a couple of rounds with this and it not bother me. But it is audible, like very audible to me. It's not like shooting and it sounds like I'm shooting a 22 or something. It's a little bit louder than that.
So what do you like better, the 20 rounders or the 25 round mag? I already know.
20 rounders they're great for prone, but 25s look great. And also they hold 5 more rounds of 308. So
that's the only plus, in my opinion, is that they hold more ammunition. But I like the 20 rounders for 308, especially the steel mags because they're straight. Like that right there just looks so damn good.
Oh yeah, I would like if this was my gun, I'd be running pretty much nothing but 20 through it, just because this is a gun you're most likely to go prone with.
Right, and if it was set up as a battle rifle, 25s all day long.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, the best thing about this gun though is that it is affordable for your more common folk. It's not something that you have to pay $4,000 in order to get it. You know, there's no like super expensive entry fee. I think you can pick one up for like $800 right now. So it makes it possible for someone to save up their money over time and be able to purchase this, and then they'll have a 308. So I think that's super cool that PSA makes everything so affordable, and it's still a great product. Real quick though, I wanted to read something to you. It is Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Basically, don't be afraid.
Trust in the Lord.
He's always watching out for you.
Yep. You ever feel alone or afraid? You don't have to. Jesus is with you. Anything else? No? Well, I appreciate everyone watching. See you next time.
I love you.
Say it again.
Appreciate you all watching. Till next time.
You're just like the channel weirdo or something.
The channel autist.
Okay, guys, if y'all ever want to know what is the worst vehicle you can buy, it is one of these second-gen Dodge pickup trucks. Tell them about it, Eric. Does your transmission work?
No.
Does your power steering work?
No.
Is your dash in one piece?
No.
Does it accelerate quickly?
No.
Water. Sure. Yeah, toss me a water, will you? Nice, sir. So, I don't like shooting through the chronograph, because you remember that one time I shot it with a what? Oh yeah, that might help. Good, you're good. Yeah, I don't like shooting through the chronograph because that one time I shot it with the 30-06. You remember that? And since it's not my chronograph, a little concerned. It's not on. It is not on. Which, I mean, I've got a decent sized thumb, right? Good thumb. Take it off the tripod. Turn it upside down. Open the latch. Connect battery. Put battery back in compartment. Close latch. Connect back to tripod. Frame up. I don't like that this gun is pointed directly at you like that. You're having a great time, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Ow. It's hot, right? If I could learn how to do that in the editing process. So if you didn't see it, it's because I am stupid. Excuse me, Mr. Giant Ass Horsefly.
I do.
I just hit my microphone. That was probably really loud. Hey, what scope am I running on my AR-10?
You haven't mentioned a specific scope for your AR.
Okay, well you're I have one job, Eric. We still rolling, yeah? Oh no, I'm fixing to lose my damn microphone. Being able to put your cheek on there and it not be freezing. You move the shit out of my camera, Eric. Like Aaron at administrative results. Like Aaron at administrative results. Huh?
I'm sorry. Start that over. Just show it again and then talk about it and stay down because
Right here?
down a little more. Right there.
You want me to hold a squat while I talk? Are you good, brother?
My vision went blurry from that.
That pre-workout?
Yeah.
Did you already mix mine?
No, I was.
Good. Don't mix it yet. Don't mix it yet. Let me check over my notes right fast. Am I still framed up good?
I'll be back.
Is that what it's called, Eric? Is it called a Q&R?
Q&A maybe.
Oh, Q&A. Just me needlessly yapping right at the moment. Right here. I like that we're still dialed in for 500.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, take 8 inches off of 4 foot, you know, because there's an inch in the threads. Inches matter. There's something running across the high line down there.
Mm-hmm.
There's something way the fuck down there on the left side past that last mile marker.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a cow.
You quit that shit. It just says forged aluminum upper and lower. Yeah, I think they use 7075 T6 aluminum.
It just says what? You want to see how far back we have to be before we can no longer hit one of these with your Glock?
No.
Do you have any FMJs?
No.
No? I have a 45. So, definitely check that out. Check that out. Eric, how are they going to check that out? That doesn't make any... Hey.
I mean, just don't be a zombie about it. Like, hi guys, welcome back. I'm Eric. Today we're going to talk about the Palmetto State Armory
We have a
PA10.
We have a gun.
Everybody says it's not a great gun. The scope is
No,
maybe,
just leave it at that and walk away. Wind.
yeah, the wind. As soon as this one's gonna fuck me up.
Fucking fight back, Eric. Blow back. You remember the Simpsons movie? No. When he blew the bubbles at the dome?
Oh no, blow back!
You ready? Hands in pockets for all my soldiers out there who can't. Today we're going to be talking about the Palmetto State Armory PA10. I don't like that little Palmetto State Armory.
Okay, hey, hold on.
This is the greatest though. This is the blooper reel at the end. Is always awesome. Pull up your notes. I've got thumbnail, shorter intro, walk down of gun for specs. That's all of my notes on this right now. We're stupid. We're stupid.
Thumbnail, shorter intro.
I said, yo, let's get our phones, let's take notes so this is better off. And neither one of us really did anything.
I was more focused.
I was just like, oh, it's all up here in the dome piece, man. I got this. Get out here, get in front of the camera. Recall nothing. Real fast, guys, before we do any of that, though, here's a word from our sponsor. Did that look gay?
I'm laying an ants right now, so we're going to see how long this takes before I jump up. Oh, that didn't take long.
Like we are Marshall.